Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Flutespresso, where we sit down and chat with some of our favorite flutists over a cup of coffee. Today, I am delighted to be joined by Amy Porter. We all know her as a flutist, educator, entrepreneur, the host of Porter Flute Pod, which has been around for about a year now. And we know her as the professor at University of Michigan, just down the street from us here at Flute Specialists. So hi, Amy. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. A virtual cheers to you. And the most important question of this is, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking Pete's French roast with some almond milk in it.
All right, sounds delicious.
And this is a mug that I have a set of that I usually keep in my office, and it has that really cute bee inside. So this is my
Cute.
teaching mug. Yeah, make sure you don't drink too much coffee.
Right.
Absolutely. Water. I always have water. You know, I really try it. My husband and I have a water piece of paper that we put ticks of how much water we have every day. And he's an athlete, so he tries to beat me. You have to win. So drinking water is a big thing in our house.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's awesome. That explains a lot about you and your activities and your working out and everything that you do as well. It kind of explained a lot for me. I do want to remind everyone who is watching, we have this awesome Flute Specialist mug signed by Amy herself. Here. And basically anyone who's watching, just leave a comment and you'll be entered to win that, plus a copy of her ballade CD, which we absolutely love. Yeah, and there's nothing better than just drinking coffee and listening to you play flute. So yeah, please leave some comments. All right.
I think that cup is for decoration only. I don't think you want to be washing.
Yeah, I agree. Although it does hold up well. We tested it out here. We signed it. But yes, decoration for sure, like holding your pencils in on your flute desk. So yes, exactly. All right. So I want to start first with some questions that came in from people on Facebook and Instagram, and then we'll kind of talk about what you've been up to. So the first question I have from you comes from Vanessa Flute, and she's asking, what is the biggest misconception about a music career in your eyes?
The biggest misconception in my eyes is that every career is the same. So I'd say mapping out your own individual path and opening every door and seeing the amazing doors that open for you, that's the main thing. So the biggest misconception is that everyone's career is the same. You have to look at someone else to do the same thing, and you don't. So I would say if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So you have to not please everyone, just follow your own path.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like you can speak from a lot of experience on that, going on so many different paths and kind of delving into a lot of aspects of music and beyond music as well.
Mm-hmm. I would clarify, Tatiana, that these aren't paths. These are just music. Yeah. This is a musical life. Mm-hmm. When you're playing chamber music, you're playing chamber music. It doesn't automatically say that you can, for the rest of your life, do that, should, or need to. But if you're not doing everything a little bit when you're younger, then if somebody asks you to do it, you say, "Oh, I've never done that." Just dabble in everything, and then don't follow the leader.
Yeah,
follow your heart. Do it all, and then in the end, it's you, and people celebrate you. I celebrate you. We all celebrate everyone who can come to the path, the career path. And I think the word misconception is great because it is a misconception. There's truth, and the truth is what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot in music school too, we're taught either we can become orchestral musicians or we can become flute professors. In a lot of schools, they teach you, those are the two things in a music career, but there's so much more beyond that, which you've definitely shown too as well. So
don't be a musician. God bless.
Exactly. All right. So the next question is, does tap playing actually help us, or is it just me thinking that? Basically playing without air.
So haha, I call it the haha exercise, and I'm always talking about how the diaphragmatic pressure can get up to the lips and service your tone a lot faster if you have that hop hop hop. And it's Moyes Etudes and Exercises, page 16, number 12. If you do it haha, connected and disconnected, this is a wonderful exercise passed on by Robert Langevin, where it's all ha 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 disconnected, and it sounds like doo-doo. If you've all played articulation without the tongue, it's not pretty, nor is it really supposed to be. When we're working, so we're going to sound like a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And so you say, oh, that's cool. I have to do it slower because I have to be disconnected. So you go, otherwise it's connected. Then the connected one, maybe I should just play it.
Yeah.
Should I just play it? Who
we would love that.
Or tell me the name of this person.
Julara Berra.
Okay. Lauren. Try to show you my whole flute, but it's not in the shot. That was all just haha, and then woo. That's more ho ho ho. But that just gets your air right into the front. Then you add tutu on the top. That's all haha with the tutu, and then connected like for Jolivet or something. I always say it's like a deli sandwich. You got your haha on the bottom. It's like a haha sandwich with tutu on the top disconnected, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You get choices of articulation, but everything, to answer your question, has that absolutely. And it's not this big abdominal thrust. You don't go lifting weights like this, but you can be injured. So, yeah, it's talk to a singer. They do 300 of these a day. Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, great. On that note, actually, another question kind of related to articulation. So somebody sent in that they're having trouble tonguing, especially in the high register with fast passages, and the tone ends up feeling brittle when they tongue. So do you have any other exercises that can kind of help with that as well?
I do have a YouTube video about the third register, and it's fighting cat. It sounds like fighting cats up there sometimes. And then I found an audio clip of cats fighting, and then it all went downhill. I was like, oh yeah, that's fun. So the muscles have to receive air, and I would say that if you're letting go of, fluffy lip, that's not going to be helpful. So find out what's not working. So just understand there's two muscles. I've been asking my students these days. Once we went to the anatomage table and we saw the skin, they take the skin off, they take everything off, and they said, what part of the face would you like to see, or the body, the hands? And I said, show me the lips. So they took off in the anatomage table the skin and all the stuff, and there are these two muscles. And the only way I can describe it is this. I really hate pineapple. I have tried to like pineapple, but it makes me go like this. And so you see, if you do that, the I hate pineapple, like think of a fruit, guys. Everybody just think of that thing, peppermint or whatever it is. I like peppermint, but some people are like, feel those. Do you feel it? Tatiana, you do it. What's the fruit you don't like? Yeah. That's it. I
love all fruit. Yeah.
There's two parts to it. It's a huge thing. It's the Loch Ness Monster, I call it. There's the front and the back. And the front is the part where we can see it, this part. And then the back is the part we can't see. It's all this. It's all under here. And so what our misconception of that is that we should go down, and let's all try it, and we will suffocate ourselves. Put your tongue back and down and go, right? So you're going to not breathe. Right. So my stupid Amy trick is to elongate the tongue, and I just ever so slightly think of this as longer or engaged. Like a lot of people come to me and this is moving around, and I'm saying, hey, this is still the tongue. You might want to, say, I hate pineapple. It's just work. I love these muscles here. It prevents the smiley. It prevents the storybook, as we call it in Michigan. Everything is like this, high. So if you get like that and you're in the third octave, it's only going to get worse. Okay, all these people are saying hi in the chat, and I'm just looking at Tatiana. So hi. I love you.
Yeah, lots of people. Great. Okay, so that was awesome. I'm gonna remember that. I hate pineapple, but I gotta figure out something else that I hate.
I know.
I love pineapple. Okay. Tell us some ways. This is also something I know you've talked about many times in your podcast, but for maybe new listeners here, what are some ways to be motivated to practice?
One way to motivate yourself is to reverse engineer. So reverse engineer your project. If you have a recital, a test, a lesson, whatever it is, work backwards and say, I want to be prepared by the day before. I don't want to be that morning of my lesson going, woo, how we all half blow into the flute. We're trying to cram the etudes. I know, I used to do it. So you reverse engineer, and this is what I did. You can hear about it in my audition podcast. What you do is you just plan backwards and you get to today. And you say, okay, what can I do today? Get myself going to get to here, because by this point, this is where I need to be. Now, let's say that there's no goal or there's no deadline. Then you need to create a mission statement for yourself. I think you need to get clear on what you can offer as a musician. Is there something bigger out there that you're playing for a source, as I would say? Is this making you happy? Is it something bigger than yourself? So that should be motivation enough. And if it's not, then do something that makes you happy and gets you off the couch. No one should force you to play our instrument. My mother used to say, some other young lady is out there working for the same thing you are. And I was like, oh, right. Maybe this is going to get me up off the, Yeah, it's important to know what your why, as we say these days. That's such a it's such a catchphrase now. It's so sad. But creating a mission statement if you don't have a goal, and reverse engineering if you do have a goal. That should get you to practice. And if listening to James Galway tell you about scales doesn't get you to practice, I don't know what will. Yeah, I just let him and I start to practice. He will make you practice.
Right. Maybe like having a poster of him or always having him on repeat is enough motivation, right?
Gosh, yes.
On that note, this is kind of similar, and it's actually from the same person, but tips on how to prepare for our auditions or practicing audition repertoire, aside from, reverse engineering.
Yes. Okay. So we have 2 episodes in season 1 of Porter Flute Pod. One where I have alum come back. That is episode 16. It's called Behind the Screen. And we have 3 alum come back and tell their stories from when they were sitting with me in a lesson as a freshman, or or they were in communication with me after school, or they weren't in communication with me after school, and then all of a sudden job, and then what happened from there. And so I called Alan Tomasetti and Justine Sedke, said, hey, would you like to come back and tell your story of how you progressed through 15 years or so? And they said yes. So that's called Behind the Screen. It's with Kelly Zimba, Elise Henry, and who was the other one? Elise, Kelly, and help me out here, AJ. Sorry. You have to get the third person. The other one is episode 9. Marie Tashaway from Chicago. The other one is episode 9. So this is about creating musical dreams and meeting realistic goals. So if you're going to put that out there, that prep, you've got to meet the right goals. And I tell you, I reverse engineer for you. I talk about the dream versus the reality of things. So it's important to hold yourself accountable, not, other people accountable for your losses or gains. So I would say use Porter Flute Pod to answer this question. You will have more than enough answers. Again, it's season 1, episode 9 and 16.
Okay, great.
Again,
Thank you.
my moms were Kelly and Mimi and Elise.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I do love that when you bring in your students, especially on the podcast, current and former students. It's just a nice touch to hear people, with that experience studying with you.
And let me tell you how we do that. We only ask for an audio clip. I am not sitting there saying, tell me about your time with me, because I know it's personal. It's a one-on-one relationship. So I don't need to influence them anymore. In that respect, I've done my job. I don't take credit for their successes, and I don't take, I don't take credit for their faults either. I think it's important to keep the students in your life. I love seeing the babies and the food and the students. To me, when they leave, are just a big joy, just a huge joy. So if any of my students are out there, put it in the chat.
Awesome. Actually, a question came in the chat from Anthony. He said, ask a question about tactics for memorizing music. He's been playing Schubert's Trockene and can't quite get it down completely. And you memorize like a lot of music on YouTube. Everything's memorized. So
yeah. I played it for a long time. And that's the thing, Anthony. Play that part over and over and over. So if you know the beginning, you go for a while and you're like, oh, you just hit that spot, open the music. Like, open the music. Just look, and play it over and over and over again. And then, oh, yeah, I know how to get to that spot. And it's also chords. So if you can think, I am in, let's see, E major, or this one is an E major for a whole 16 bars. I don't have to worry about G sharps. Those are the kind of things I think about when I memorize. I'm really just focused on the music. Tactile memory is great. Solfege, please go to my website, Porter Flute, and fish around. I know it's a hard website. We're revamping it, but there's 20 ways to cure technique. And in there's tactics that say memorize, because the memorization helps the technique. And looking at your fingers helps the technique. And so looking at your fingers helps the memory. So we have this memory and this memory and this memory, lots of different ways to memorize. So don't just think that it's only fingers. I hope that answers your question.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Last question from somebody. What are your general thoughts on the Rockstro flute hold?
Oh my goodness. That was such an kind of an ergonomic thing where, I was obsessed with the thumb thing, like, don't put your thumb back there, so I just make a peace sign, but I do actually roll in a little. I don't know. It was a different kind of flute with big keys. I think my answer is personal. It's just personal.
Yeah.
Ergonomics. I can't hold the flute if you're going to make me hold it like this. And yet, if you're going to ask me to play the flute, I am actually going to just a little, but then, and there I am. So my keys are to the ceiling for sure. I hate this camera. I don't know where I'm going. So it's backwards. Okay, so yeah, peace, Professor Porter. Put the thumb there. Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think I helped.
Awesome. Yeah. And I wanted to bring that up too, because I remember in a master class a few years ago when I was studying at Michigan State, you were there and you did something I hadn't seen before. I was really young, and you like tried to take the flute away from somebody, and you're making sure they had that grip, and you're like, sound comes from here. And so I'm like, okay, sound comes from here. You have to have a nice.
Oh, I'm quoting when I say that.
Yeah.
Should I tell you that story?
Yes.
I was on the jury of the Kobe the 6th international Kobe competition. 11 years after I won the third one. And I was with Nicolay every day. Now, Aurel Nicolay taught Galway, he taught everybody, right? So, of course, I was like, ooh. Now, he did say two things to me. Right in meeting me, about a day later, he said, I hate Americans, but I like you. And that was good. And the second thing was, as the cigarettes kept dribbling from his bottom lip, Emmy, can I smoke? Of course, Aurel. Of course. You're not going to tell Aurel Nicolay anything. So finally, Aurel Nicolay at dinner turns to me. And of course, I'm right next to him. I am waiting for I'm waiting for Buddha to speak. And he does. He says, I had a lesson with Paul Taffanel. And by that time, it was like week number 2. And I said, what were you, 4? He said, I was very young. But Taffanel said, tone comes from here. Why? And I quickly had an answer. The chin. Oui, he said. Oui. Correct. Yes, the chin. There is nothing else really necessary. There's fulcrum and the chin. And then you got a lot of great flexibility here. You got a lot of great flexibility here. Half the time I'm taking my hand off the flute. It's a balance. It's not a hold. It's a lot of air and just a lot of joy. And I think if we can make it bigger, see a bigger picture, once we can left hand in, we can find freedom. If we're trying to find everything to hold the flute, it's not going to feel so good. So that's my Nicolay story.
That's amazing.
I loved that. I learned so much. And my podcast this week talks about the Bach cello suites and how at that faithful jury, he gave a lecture in German and it was translated into Japanese. So I was searching down the row for anyone who could see my eyeballs going, help, somebody help. So some girl went like this and I sat next to her. The wonderful Japanese lady helped explain to me what Paul Meisen was saying from time to time. I mean, I took a little German, so I was hanging on, and it was fascinating. And it was so wonderful, that pivotal lecture of the cello suites. And then to hear a Bach Allemande of the partita played on the cello, mind-blowing. So it was a great, great, great experience to be with Nicolay and to be with Andras again, and all these amazing jury members that were pretty much on the same jury that judged me 11 years before. It was lovely. An honor. So I hope that helps.
Sorry. Yeah, awesome. Okay, there's one more question. I'm sure they'll keep coming in. We'll do this question and then we'll kind of talk a little bit about what else you've been up to. But this is from Whitney. She said, tips for trying to overcome or cope with performance anxiety for her first collegiate recital.
Breathe. And reverse engineer. So get on that mat or whatever you have and do a lot of like the S stretch and downward dog. Just do a lot of wonderful stretches. But the biggest thing you can do is breathe. So you're going to do, half, like 4 or 5 counts in through the nose and then twice as many out through the mouth. And it's going to be the syllables F or SH. Shh, or now, this can happen as you're doing your makeup before the concert. This can happen a week in advance when you're eating breakfast and you think about your recital. You go, oh, I'm nervous. Just go, because your recital is this outcome. And I say it in my podcast, I can't stand those. Sorry. I'm very upset when people say, I can't wait till that's over. Well, why did you do it in the first place? Enjoy the ending, okay? Enjoy this amazing output. And then just back yourself up and go, this energy is good. And I got control of this, this other voice, the judgment voice. We don't need it. Source is a great thing. Tap into something bigger, as I say, than your mind, body, or anything. Just, it's going to be great. And if you keep saying it's going to be fine, it's going to be great, By the time you get there, you're in a zen. Now, here's the thing that I would love for you to do before this concert is kick everybody out. Kick them out of the dressing room, kick them out of your house. Just calmly tell the people in your life what's happening that day, because you don't want to be throwing hair dryers or sandwiches or, you want to make sure that you're calm. And this concert's going to go the way you want it to go. So unless that happens, often I'll walk backstage before my students' recital. And if there's too much buzz, I walk up and I say, would you like me to ask everyone to leave? And sometimes they go, no, we're good. And so I turn around and I say, okay, 3 minutes to show. Let's just, you know what I mean? And I get that backstage, like in the zone. It's not, what happened with my relationship last Tuesday. It's all about, someone's performance and how you're going to play in that person's performance and how you're going to play. So, hi, all you people. AJ's here. Karen Marsh. Hang on, Tatiana.
Yeah, please.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Salt Lake City. Hi, Norwalco. Hi. Okay, Anthony, I think we answered your question. Yes, Whitney, I hope I answered your question. Hi, Rose. Okay, awesome. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that advice. Good luck, Whitney, on your recital.
Yeah.
So we kind of got a glimpse of your flute as you did a couple exercises for us. We know you're a Haynes artist. We love Haynes flutes. I have a bunch of Haynes flutes behind me here. We're big dealers, big fans of Haynes. Tell us a little bit about your flute.
This is a white gold flute with rose gold keys. I just wanted one.
It's gorgeous.
Oh my God. I don't have any others. It's stunningly beautiful. You want it engraved? Sure, let's engrave it. I don't know. And then I went with the offset because I've broken my hand a couple times and I'm not getting any younger. So I thought, okay, and I was missing for a while. So Tatiana, just bottom line, I was ready to be taught something new by the flute.
Yeah.
So I picked the oldest flute in America, the original. And I wondered why Muramatsu and Haynes felt so similar. And that's because Mr. Muramatsu was visiting Mr. Haynes. But we go into that in the podcast.
Yeah.
So it's so beautiful. It makes me sound so different. If I listen to the Cello Suite, the Cello Suites is the last CD of the Muramatsu. What an amazing instrument that was. And I can tell that I was at peace and one and everything. And what a great way to kind of move on, to say 36 years with one maker. Why not? I don't need to prove anything anymore. Let's start this whole thing over.
Right.
So fun. Those of you who studied with me while I was in 14, 15, 16, getting used to this, I'd go up for a note, wouldn't come out. I would laugh so hard. I think Peter and the Wolf was about the worst thing ever. It was so fun to learn the whole flute again. I didn't feel like, I sound like crap. No, I sound like crap. Yeah, this is going to take a year. And it did. And then the Gobert happened. And it felt so good to go up for these little notes and just have them sizzle the way the Haynes sizzles. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. Yeah, I'm glad you're happy with your flute. It's stunning and it sounds amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I do want to ask too, in this past year, I feel like normally we would have seen you in person by now. We've done a virtual thing with Flute Specialists and you. But we're not traveling right now. I don't know if your students are in person or what, but other than, creating this new podcast, what else have you been up to in the past year?
Well, so I have been making sure that students are pretty much with me a lot. So what they do is they are recording their assignment. So we have an assignment portal, and I go in and I write the warm-up, the Makar or the record or their Taffenel Gobert, and then their etudes, and then their repertoire, and then their goals. Remember we talked about having that thing and reverse engineering it. So I do that in the assignment. Then I click the week. I click the next date a week later, and it is due. Now, it doesn't get graded, so to speak, but they have to download a submission. So I download the submission and I watch it, and they talk to me. They mess up, and they're like, ah, and then they keep going. But there's so much about that. If you can just think for a second, that's amazing, right? 2 touches to the lesson, not just 1. The recording of the student to, watching themselves. The ability for me to get past the microphone on Zoom and say, look, this happened so many times this semester. Listen, your etudes are amazing, and quite frankly, your piece is great. We need to do your warm-ups because you don't sound like the same person. And the warm-ups are like, and I did earlier say you're not supposed to sound great all the time, but I think that at a young age, freshman age, sometimes you forget to sound good in your scales. Like, you can't just blow randomly on your scales and your warm-ups. You've got to have some sound. Okay, so yeah, I've been taking care of them by making sure they record themselves, get up in class. So class has been, we had a big hall 4 or 5 times. So that meant Stamps Auditorium or Britain. And so I'm not that teacher who, if it's controversial, sorry, but I won't mask up my students. So I stayed at home. This is my teaching studio. They've got me, and they are in my studio. So the university lets them in my office, that amazing space, and they come on the computer, and I'm in my office virtually. Cool. And they play, I get on, I start recording, and I go, listen, this was great. Let's move to this. I don't know what teacher wouldn't love to do that. That is so efficient. And it started with my student Ellen, who is now at Juilliard studying Baroque flute. She had been with me for bachelor and master. She had said, Porter, look, listen, I love you, but quite frankly, I'm so busy, and these lessons, can I just record everything? And I was like, oh my God, Ellen, fine. And then COVID hit, and I was like, she's a genius.
Yeah.
So that's the way I was like, Ellen, I'm going to do this with every student. So it's been great. What else have I been doing? I pretty much, how you redecorate one room and then you redecorate the whole house? Mm-hmm. That happened. Yeah, I got a new back door, and the back door was leaking. Like, the dogs could push it open. You all could just walk right in. Yeah, the door is a big, big deal. Doors are enormously expensive. So saved up for the door, and I got some, great house stuff. I don't know if any of you own a home built in 1913. Wow. Yeah, and I'm only the 4th owner. This home has so much history. The women of war met here, Second World War. This was a boys' boarding house for a while. And I bought it from the professor of art and design who had rheumatoid arthritis. So when she got that horrible illness and was confined to a wheelchair, her family built a wing onto the back of this house that has an elevator in it. So I have an elevator in my house.
My gosh.
That's an elevator. Okay, so yeah, so you walk in the back door, and there's this elevator and the laundry, and then comes the real, this beautiful home. And so I restored it, and it took many years, but I love this home. So wow. Yeah, there's just been, and I can always keep busy. But the podcast, I have to say, has been a labor of love for education. I'd say my education outlet. I go to bed with a smile on my face because really nobody can go, that stunk.
Right.
Listen.
Yeah.
I always had that attitude.
Right. That was one thing you said in your podcast about, like, actually something that you just reminded me of, like, the haters that you get. You're like, thank you for keeping me in check. And I'm also like, why are these people thumbs down, like giving you a thumbs down? It's just hilarious.
Oh, I go, hi, there you are. So you've got to love Justine on my team. She says, it gives you credibility, Mm-hmm. Because I'm like 32 likes and no downs. Oh, man, I'm waiting. So, hey, don't go there, you guys.
Yeah, right.
Right, they'll thumbs down, they'll go, JK.
Right.
But literally, it doesn't affect me in that way. It's my art. I owned it. And guys, you haven't heard, you're only hearing, 40% of what I do. If it's not great, I'm not going to put it up. I have a Bach B minor suite sonata. I would be shocked if the harpsichordist ever heard me, but yeah, only stuff up. Or okay, let me just preach from my own perspective. I put stuff up that passes my bar. So if you don't like it, go watch someone else.
Right. That's like the perfect attitude to have. By the way, I have a request for your next YouTube video. Unless you've already done this, you gotta give us a tour of your house. We need to see the elevator, all the history. We need to see the home renos, before and afters.
People want to see that?
I don't know.
Right there.
It's just cool. Like, that's something that you do. I feel like in your podcast, it's so well-rounded, because there's things I listen to and I'm like, you don't even have to be a flutist to listen to this. Like that guy that you met or you didn't meet him in jail, but he was like your stepbrother. You have like a stepbrother overseas or something, right? And not stepbrother, brother-in-law, cousin, something. And some guy went to jail and he knew you. That story like killed me. I'm like, anybody would enjoy this story.
It was the number one story in my life. When you sit around the dinner table and goes, who has a story? I'm like,
what is it? Is it your cousin or somebody?
My cousin.
Cousin, okay.
Yes, but the best thing is to hear Wissam Bustani speak the story. Like you're crying with laughter.
Right, yeah.
Amy, the police, my children are at the window. He's saying with his eyes like this. You guys, it's podcast, I think number 2 or 3. It's story time. It's story time. Every 7 episodes, we have a story time. And I'm recording story time in like 2 hours from now.
Okay.
Caliendo, and we're going to tell the story of how we met at a diner in Las Vegas.
Oh.
And I don't like people, like literally, really, if you met me at a diner and sat next to me, you know me as Amy Porter, friendly flutist, but I am not that person as, And so he really wanted to talk to me and I was like, no.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a funny story. So thank you for remembering.
Nice. Yeah, well, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, we want suggestions for our future podcasts. That's right. We should say that.
Yeah. Okay, so before I get into this little ending here, tell us about your agenda for the summer. We know you're at Brevard. What's going on this year?
Well, we had to scale back a little. We had really big plans, and we had scheduled a 2-week workshop with Greg Patillo. I was asked to find someone that I could share the stage with that had a different message. And I was like, I got the person. I didn't even have to think about it. So that got canceled, but I'll say postponed. But what we did, and then I'm so sorry for the high school program. Also, we postponed that. But the in-person college will happen, very limited. It's in person. We will all have been vaccinated. Then we have to show up and quarantine for 4 days. And then there's going to be a whole lot of protocol, but Brevard will happen. Brevard is outside. So, and the housing will be different. It's just going to be scaled back. But Brevard has done its part to the community by, you know how large it is. So they have been the site of everything from outdoor movies to vaccination sites, COVID testing sites. They have been so there for the county and the town of Brevard. I'm just so proud of them. I'm excited to go back for 5 weeks. It's only 5 weeks. So, and then I am doing the Anatomy of Sound workshop. That's virtual with Valerie Coleman, and having my new interest in business and have Porter Productions grow this way. I have really been interested in entrepreneurship and again, being on the stage with someone who can say what I can't. So Valerie Coleman will be that person. Again, we'll have the anatomage table that I talked about, looking at the muscles of the whole body. if you've ever wondered that the path of your airway will go down, it's so fun.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's the Anatomy of Sound workshop, June 5 through 8. Please register. Yes. Do it. There's 3 levels of participation. Now, and the third thing is I'm doing a very small Impulse, which is my high school workshop, and that is online as well. So it's going to be still giving and giving and giving. I've learned that my output has never been, I hope, about my need to gain. My output has always been my need to give and educate and tell people that I found out this great thing, not that I think I know everything about this. No. So if you know me, thank you so much for being here for the last 42 minutes and listen to my big mouth, but I'm getting an even bigger mouth. The only thing I can't do, Tatiana, we were talking about this. I can't go live. You know how people get on
right.
Hey, everybody popping on. That is so not. That's a shy side again. No, I'll have to film it, and I'm so easy. If I know, oh God, I have dribble going down my, because no one will tell me. No one will tell me I have dribble going. Yeah. So.
Well, that's why the nice forward-facing camera is good, because then you can see yourself and just low key,
So we've been live this whole time, and
it's been great.
I haven't really felt it because just you. I can't see people, and people are coming on, but it's just great to see everybody here.
Yeah, lots of people here saying hi. Okay, so I have 110 other questions for you, but we can definitely wrap this up because usually at the end of these we have, unless you have any last minute things to add. Okay. Okay, so at the
I talk a lot. All your questions are answered, or you do.
And you gave me anxiety. You're like, I have to record something in 2 hours. I'm like, all right, you have to go. But so we usually end these with a quick this or that, we call it our Flutespresso express round, like coffee or tea, but I think I want to end this with, unless you want to do that, we can do it, but I want to end this with a top 5. So I'm going to list a category, and you're going to give us your top 5 of the specific category. Because I feel like you're such a mentor to the flute community and beyond, that, if Amy Porter likes this movie, I better go watch this movie. So
I'll watch movies. Okay.
Okay, then I'm not going to ask that one. I was going to ask that too. Okay.
Well,
all right. I'll keep them kind of music based.
No television.
Okay.
No. I'm not the last person in the world that doesn't have Netflix or Hulu yet.
Oh my gosh. Yes. No, that's good. That's why you're so busy and productive and doing so much. And the rest of us are just here on Netflix all day. No. Okay. So give me your top 5 favorite orchestral excerpts.
Well, they have to be the top 5 that are called for in the first 2 minutes of life, right? In the first 2 minutes of life in your audition, it's always Brahms, Beethoven, Mendelssohn, and Debussy and Ravel. Mm-hmm. Favorites are the Cadenza and Petrushka, and my other favorite is Aus Liebe, from St. Matthew Passion. I'll never forget I got an invitation to audition for the New York Philharmonic, and they greet you so beautifully, and they hand you a red leather-bound book, and they say, Miss Porter, enjoy your audition. And I said, I will. And it was so lovely. And I went out on stage of Avery Fisher, this big screen or whatever, and I opened up this beautiful leather book, and there it is, Bach. Got this,
Nice.
And after 20 minutes, and then guess what happened? Everybody knows the story. I ran out of, I played so long, I didn't have any water. I'm not the water Nalgene girl. So there was water bottles with the top on it, and then the stacked cups, and then, I didn't pour water, and then I didn't make it through the Mendelssohn Scherzo. It was bad. And then they said, the New York Philharmonic, if you must know, needs the Mendelssohn Scherzo very slowly, and that's always no. So my favorite are the ones where you get fantasy and you get lyricism, and to me that's Petrushka. That's like I love Prokofiev, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't love those? I mean, half the sonata is, Love of Three Arches or Romeo and Juliet. It's just so beautiful. So those are my favorites. But the top five, you got to walk around with those memorized.
It has to be those. Yeah, right.
Memorized.
Right. Okay, awesome. What are your top 5 favorite performance venues that you've performed at throughout your life?
The Rensselaer Center, the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, RIP, in at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, or PI, sorry. We're not live. I played there and I recorded Trail of Tears, and it is incredible acoustic. It's like this round thing, and it's just an amazing place. I have to say that Music Verein, of course, in Vienna, and then you have Carnegie Hall. I know it's really, gauche, but I've played there 5 times, once as a soloist, in the big hall, and I was like, okay, you're right. But Hill Auditorium, the Hill Auditorium it used to seat more. Is here in Ann Arbor, and it's the same acoustics. So it's just an amazing. It's very narrow, not very long, so that's an amazing hall. I really liked Zenkel Hall at Skidmore College. That was stunningly beautiful with the windows in the back. You can see that. Nice. That live recital, I think, is up under full recitals on my YouTube channel. So all those acoustically amazing halls. If you're a soloist, you walk into a hall, you just look up. You got to make sure you don't run into anything, because you just got to figure this out. Is it round? Is it wooden? Is it square? Is it what? Is there a barrier right there? And who am I playing with? Am I with the pianist? Am I with and Taiwan? Oh my God, I have to do that hall, the National Concert Hall in Taiwan. I could have Miss Porter. Would you like the organ, or would you like the tapestry, the artwork? If you see me playing in that hall, if you stand back, that hall has this big canvas, beautiful painting mural. And I was like, give me the painting. It was stunning. So I want to go back.
Sounds gorgeous. Okay, we'll do one more. It's kind of similar. What are your top 5 favorite cities you've traveled to?
My top favorite city, London. Because, yes, it's part of my DNA. Yeah, London's pretty cool. Edinburgh too. They call that the Paris of the North. Edinburgh. Yeah, really amazing. Tokyo, brilliant place. We're in Japan. Yeah. I just a lot of people like the tropical, places, but I actually like the more northern places. If you're gonna talk about that, so I'd say Vancouver. That is like, if you've ever imagined water, mountains, and everything looking like a postcard, that's British Columbia, Vancouver. It's just stunning. So
nice.
I'll go there.
All right. Cool. Well, we'll end here. Thank you so much for everything today. It's great to hear you answer all these wonderful questions too. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Don't forget to comment so you can win a signed mug by Amy Porter.
Thank you, and thank you to Haynes for making this amazing flute.
Yes.
For being a dealer for Haynes. So
absolutely.
Great to see you all, and thanks for listening. Shout out to Canada, yeah.
All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.